to this channel. My name is Nasali Mariam. Welcome to this space. Today we are going to share about something interesting. We are going to share about resilience. So to begin with, what is resilience? Resilience is the ability to withstand difficult life events, it's the ability to withstand instabilities, it's the ability to withstand those challenging moments. That is resilience. So, resilience is one of the things that we require in life. We normally overlook it, but it's something that we require in our lives. Resilience. Everyone has to be resilient. And let me tell you one thing, resilience is not for everyone. I said by saying that everyone needs it, but it's not for everyone. Just to say it's not for the faint hearted. So I have described resilience and how can we really be resilient? Let me give you an example of a time that I really required resilience. You understand? There was a time that we were having moods, we were having, because I'm a lawyer, while I was still in school, there was a time that we were having moot courts, and I really there was this we used to call them personal advisors, but there was this lecturer. This lecturer was really on me. He could ask many questions, and he will really get on your last nerve. You understand? To the extent that you feel like just getting out of the class. But I really needed those marks because the most were accumulating certain marks, and I had to reply to every question that this judge was asking. But it wasn't easy for me. But if I wasn't resilient, if I had not withstood through, even if the questions were getting on my nerves, if I didn't stand and wait till I go through it all, it wouldn't have been easy for me, and maybe I wouldn't have gotten those marks. So I need a resilience there. Sometimes also people need resilience in their day-to-day lives. They need resilience, say when they have lost someone. When you lose someone, it's such a challenging moment that sometimes you don't even feel like leaving your bed. You understand? You don't feel like leaving your house, yet you have to go and work. The world hasn't stopped because you have lost someone. You have to be resilient in those hard times. You have to keep on pushing. So that is how best I can bring it to you. So we all need resilience. How can we really build up resilience? How can we be resilient in our day-to-day lives? And we hold fast and we hold on and we push on in everything that is challenging in our lives. First of all, you have to ask yourself one question, that just because you have been faced with a problem, the world hasn't stopped. Yeah, the world doesn't stop because you have been faced with a problem or because you're facing a problem. The world hasn't stopped. The world is still moving. Business is still going. People want results. They do not want your problems. So you have to keep on pushing during the hard times. You have to be resilient. You have to go to work even if you don't feel like. You have to do whatever you have to do. You have to take care of your family even if you feel like, even if you feel like the problems you with the problems you have, you're entitled to just be there and do nothing. You understand? Ask yourself, do you really want to remain in that state forever? Do you really want to grieve forever if you have lost someone? If you have lost a job, do you really want to just stay at home and be in one place? Is that the life that you would wish for yourself? So you have to ask yourself that, do I really want to remain in this state of depression forever, or I can do something about it? That is the one question that you have to ask yourself. So how can you really be resilient? Let me pose that question to you and let me answer it for you. First of all, in order to be resilient, you have to build a support system. Do you have people around you that you can share with? You understand? Sometimes they may not be your parents, sometimes they may not be your siblings or relatives, but it may be a friend. You have that support system that you can run to and be like, I'm going through this thing. And I'm not talking about those friends that you will tell and they won't advise you well. They will just make a pity party for you. You will just remain in that state. They won't advise you. No, not those friends. Do you have that support system that you'll share with and tell them that I lost this person, but I have failed to get over it. I lost this job, but I feel like I'm depressed. I have this problem, but how best do you want me to go about it? Do you have that support system? Build a support system. Be selective with the friends that you have, with a family that you can choose. Maybe it can be an elder person that you can talk to, be like, this thing is hard for me to handle, so that they can help you build resilience, that you can go through that hard time. Then another thing that you can do is have adaptability. There are certain things that require you to be adaptive. First of all, there is this recent thing that has gone on, the COVID thing. COVID, we had to really be adaptive. Actually, some businesses have not gotten to stand because of COVID, meaning you have to adapt. People had to adapt. They had to adapt during the COVID time to the fact that they needed a few workers at the workplaces. So some people would stay at home and work online. You understand? That is adaptability. So have you adapted in your resilient times? Have you adapted in your hard times? If you're faced with a problem, you adapt. You know, there's this place that I've forgotten. It harbors monkeys, but it is very cold. There is snow and it is very cold. And because of the cold weathers, monkeys started losing their tails. You understand? Every monkey we know is supposed to have a tail, but because of the cold environment, the monkeys started losing their tail. You understand? So even the monkeys they give birth to in that cold environment, they don't have tails because of the cold environment, meaning they adapted to the environment. So have you adapted to that situation? You understand? If maybe you're going through the hard times of maybe you don't have money, maybe you used to have much but now you have less. Have you adapted to the fact that now you have less, you have to spend less? Because now it is a new normal to you. It is a new normal to you that maybe you lost your husband. It's now a new normal. If he was the one who was bringing, say, things to run the home, now it is you. Have you adapted? Have you really sat yourself down and adapted to the fact that right now your husband is not there? He died, he's not in the picture anymore. It is you. You have to adapt. You have to be resilient and move through that hard time. Then another thing that can help us to be resilient is sitting down with ourselves and talking to ourselves. Many times we would want to have meetings with people. We talk about things that are to run organizations, things that are to run communities, but we forget to sit ourselves down. Do you know that as a person, you're supposed to sit yourself down and talk to yourself? You talk to yourself during those hard times and be like, how am I really going to go about this? You can actually call it positive self talk. Have you sat yourself down and talked to yourself as a person? Do you have a meeting with yourself? Because it starts with you as a person, and be like, how am I really going to go through this? You understand? So you can build resilience through positive self talk. You sit yourself down. As a person, you are your own government, so you're supposed to have those meetings. You understand? You know those extraordinary meetings that they hold when something has come up. You understand? You know those bodies that they bring about when they are things that have come in the country, those sudden happenings. Let's say floods have come and they have destroyed homes. There are those committees that they sit because of the unplanned events that have happened. Yes, ebyo ebigwa tebiraze. They make committees to deliberate about those. Even in your life as a person, there are some things that happen and you did not plan for them. So you have to sit when they happen and you're like, really, now what am I going to, how am I going to go about this? You sit yourself. You are your own government. You sit your own government. You have the executive, you have the judiciary, and you have the legislature as a person. You sit down and you're like, Now, how am I really going to go about this? This has happened. I did not plan for it. How am I really going to go about it? That is when you also bring in the positive self-talk that will help you to go through the situation. You understand? Then another thing is you have to really go about those hardships uh, by building problem solving skills. Do you have those problem solving skills that you set down that in case I'm faced with problems, this is what I do? Of course, you can never be ready for everything in your life. For all the problems that we face, we are never ready for them. But at least you have those problem solving skills. You'll be like, when I get such and such a problem, what do I do? What do I do when I'm faced with this problem? You anticipate, you look at different people and see what they have faced and how they've gone about the problems that they have faced. And then you settle down and be like, meaning if I interface with such a problem, I will do this and this. So have those problem solving skills with you that will help you to be resilient. And really, we will look at you and be like, okay, this person faced this kind of problem, but they have maneuvered, they have moved through the problem, they have been resilient, they have overcome. Maybe you have not even overcome, but you have been resilient, you have pushed through that problem. You understand? So have those problem solving skills with you such that you're ready to go. I mean, what do you lose if you have the problem solving skills? It is a plus for you. You understand? So another thing that can help us build resilience is also learning from adversity. Do you learn from adversity when you are faced with problems? Do you learn from them? You also have that thing in mind that if I'm faced with a problem, it has come for me to grow through it. You understand? Learn from adversity. Learn from the problems that you face. It has not just come such that you may go through it, and sometimes you even go through it without understanding. You understand? So you learn from the problem that you have faced, learn from it. It will help you to be resilient. You'll be like, okay, I'm going through this. I'm going to really go to the other side because I'm going to learn something. So that next time I'm faced with such a thing, it will be easy for me. Then another thing is you seek professional help. Many times you overlook mental health and you're like, if I have malaria, I have to treat it. But if if I have malaria, I must treat it. If I have typhoid, I'll treat it. If I have maybe a cancer, I'll treat it. But we forget about the mental health. So you seek professional help such that you can help you to move through the difficult times. You seek professional help. There are counselors, they are those people, the therapists, you understand. You can go maybe to someone, talk to them, those people who are have the professional knowledge about what you're facing. So you also have to seek professional help. It will help you to be resilient. We said by saying that resilience is the ability to move through, to withstand the difficult times. You understand? It doesn't mean that because you're resilient, you're not having problems. No, that is why you see people standing, and you're like, that person wouldn't be standing there because of what they have gone through. They are not really supposed to stand there. Maybe they should be at home seated, but because they are resilient, they stand. So seek professional help and you get hold of those things that I've just told you, the first point. Then another thing is you have to give grace to self. You have to give grace to self. Grace to self is very, very, very important in your life. You have mercy on yourself. You have grace on self. If you have grace on self, you'll be able to push through the hard times. If you have grace to self, you reach a point in time and be like, okay, I have faced this and I have to give myself a break. When you give yourself a break through the hard times, it means you have had grace upon self. And we teach people how to treat us. First of all, if you don't have grace on self, people will treat you a different way. But you have if you have grace on self, they will understand that this kind of person is going through such and such a problem, and they will treat you according to the issues that you're going through. Let us say you're being faced with a problem, but you're not informing people at your workplace. You're not informing them. It doesn't mean that you forego the professionalism and disclose everything that is happening in your life, but you have to have that grace on self. You have been faced with a problem, but you do not give grace to self. You're pushing too hard on self. You have to be have grace on self. And the grace on self pushes us to another point of being realistic. Set realistic goals in your life. Set realistic things that you're to do. You know that you have interfaced with this issue. You have to be realistic. You understand? There are some things you cannot do when you are faced with certain problems. I may not give an example, but I understand you get me very well. That there are some things you cannot do when you're faced with a certain problem. So you have to be realistic. Omanye nti kati kino nkiyitamu naye kino sigenda kukikola olw'okubanga nina ekintu ku mutima ekinsitoweredde oba nina kye neetisse, so I'm not going to do this. You be realistic on self, you understand? So that is all about being being resilient on self and being resilient in our day-to-day lives. I've given you all the points on how we can be resilient in life. In life, we, by the way, need resilience. Resilience can make you be aggressive in your life. And one thing you have to know is that the world doesn't have to know. Just like I started, the world doesn't want to know. It only wants the results. It doesn't want to know what is going on in your life. The world doesn't want to know, but it wants your results. When you have to give results at your workplace, that is all they want. They don't want to know what you're going through. So you need this thing of being resilient. You have to push through the hard times. And we want to look at you at a certain point in time and we're like, oh, this is the woman who has just gone through divorce. This is the man who has just lost his job and they are still standing. We want to look at you in that picture. I cannot give all the examples, but we want to look at you be resilient. So that is all about resilience. Thank you so much for watching. Love you so much. Ciao.